Imagine you're lying in bed after a long day. Everything is quiet. Then, without warning, your brain decides to remind you of something you said 6 years ago. Maybe you called your teacher Mom. Maybe you waved at someone who wasn't actually waving at you. Maybe you tripped in front of a crowd, sent a text to the wrong person, or completely forgot someone's name. Suddenly, you're reliving the entire moment as if it just happened. Your face gets hot, your stomach tightens, you physically cringe. But here's the strange part. Why does your brain keep bringing back these memories when you'd rather forget them forever? Is it trying to torture you? Or is something much deeper happening behind the scenes? Today, we're diving into the surprising psychology behind embarrassing memories, why they seem impossible to escape, and why the people around you probably don't remember them nearly as much as you think. Let's start with one important fact. Your brain isn't your enemy. Its number one job isn't to make you happy. Its job is to keep you alive. For thousands of years, humans survived by learning from mistakes. If you touched a fire once, remembering that pain kept you from doing it again. Social mistakes work the same way. Being rejected by your tribe thousands of years ago could actually be dangerous. So your brain evolved to pay very close attention to moments that caused embarrassment, rejection, or humiliation. Those moments became important survival lessons. Even though modern life is completely different, your brain still uses the same ancient operating system. It treats social mistakes like they're life or death events. That's why an awkward conversation from years ago can suddenly replay in your mind while you're brushing your teeth. Not every memory gets stored equally. Think about last Tuesday. What did you eat for lunch? Unless something unusual happened, you probably don't remember. Now think about the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you. You probably remember exactly where you were, who was there, what they said, how you felt. That's because emotion acts like a highlighter for memory. When something creates a strong emotional reaction, your brain releases stress hormones that help lock the memory into long-term storage. Your brain basically stamps it with a giant label that says, "This is important, don't lose this." Unfortunately, your brain doesn't care whether the memory is pleasant or painful. Strong emotions make both kinds easier to remember. Have you noticed something strange? Embarrassing memories rarely appear when you're busy. Instead, they show up while you're showering, driving, walking, or trying to fall asleep. That's because your brain has entered what's called the default mode. When you're not focused on a task, your mind naturally wanders. It starts searching through old memories, imagining future situations, and trying to solve unfinished problems. Sometimes it stumbles across an awkward memory. Sometimes it actively searches for one. It's almost like your brain opens a giant filing cabinet and randomly pulls out a folder labeled, "Remember this disaster?" Not because it wants to hurt you, but because it's constantly reviewing past experiences to help prepare you for future ones. Now, here's something that might make you feel better. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect. It's our tendency to believe everyone notices us far more than they actually do. Think about this. Can you remember the embarrassing moment your classmate had 8 years ago? Probably not. Can you remember the random mistake your coworker made 3 months ago? Probably not. Everyone is far too busy worrying about their own embarrassing moments. Meanwhile, you're convinced everyone remembers yours. The truth is, most people forgot your mistake within minutes. Some never even noticed it. You're carrying around a memory that almost nobody else is thinking about. Here's the surprising part. Every time you replay an embarrassing memory, you accidentally strengthen it. Think of your brain like a hiking trail. The first time you walk through the forest, the path is barely visible, but the more you walk it, the clearer it becomes. Your memories work the same way. Every replay reinforces the neural connections, which makes the memory easier to access next time. It's a loop. The more you remember it, the easier it becomes to remember again. But there's good news. You can weaken the loop simply by refusing to dwell on it every single time it appears. Over time, memories that aren't constantly revisited naturally lose some of their emotional intensity. So the next time your brain decides to replay that awkward moment from years ago, remember this. Your brain isn't trying to embarrass you. It's doing exactly what it evolved to do. It's trying to help you avoid mistakes. It's trying to protect you. The problem is, it sometimes protects you from dangers that no longer exist. And here's one final thought. That embarrassing moment you're still thinking about. There's a very good chance you're the only person still remembering it. Everyone else is busy replaying their own. So maybe it's time to let yourself move on. Because your worst mistake doesn't define who you are. It's simply proof that you're human. If you enjoyed this video and want to understand more about how your mind really works, consider subscribing. Because sometimes understanding your brain is the first step toward making peace with it.